She didn't run. She could have. But Monica Allen chose something else entirely, and that choice cost her everything. And across town, Tim Bradford is doing something he's never done before. Something that terrifies him more than any perp he's ever chased. He's buying a ring. And he's doing everything in his power to make sure Lucy Chen doesn't find out. 2 stories. 2 endings. Neither one goes the way you'd expect. Let's break it all down. By the time Monica walks into Malcolm's office, she already knows the walls are closing in. Malcolm is a lawyer, but don't let the suit fool you. He's just as dirty as she is. That's exactly why she trusts him. She needs someone who won't flinch at what she's about to propose. Because what Monica is planning isn't just risky. It's the kind of move that gets people killed. She has an escape route. It runs through Aiden. A private plane, a new identity, a way out before the FBI task force can get its hands on her. Clean, fast, gone. Except nothing about this is clean. To get what Aiden is offering, Monica has to burn someone. Not just anyone, Cooper Johnson. International weapons dealer. The kind of man who doesn't forget and doesn't forgive. Setting him up isn't just a legal maneuver. It's signing a declaration of war against someone who has the resources to find her anywhere in the world. If this goes wrong, she doesn't just lose her freedom. She loses everything else too. But her immunity deal is already falling apart. The FBI task force is tightening its grip, and then comes the final blow. The files she's been holding as leverage, the ones that kept her untouchable. The FBI has found them. They're wiping them as she stands there. Her protection is gone. And Aiden gives her exactly 24 hours. Building a financial crimes case against someone like Cooper normally takes months. Teams of analysts, forensic accountants, subpoenas stacked on subpoenas. Monica doesn't have months. She doesn't have weeks. She has one day and she knows it. So she moves fast, sets Cooper up and makes the call. Aiden answers. The plane is waiting at LAX. Tonight. But before she goes, she makes one stop that isn't on anyone's plan. Wesley. She takes off the disguise before she knocks on his door. No wig, no cover story, no character she's been playing. Just her. The real her, standing there, knowing this is the last time. She tells him she'll either be gone by morning or dead. There's no third option left. Wesley offers to help, because of course he does. That's who he is. But Monica knows what staying means. Life in prison doesn't scare her less than Cooper Johnson. It just scares her differently. What she says next is the part that lingers. She admits she chose this life. Not in a proud way, but in a tired, honest way, the kind of admission that only comes when someone has nothing left to protect. She doesn't fully understand how she got here. She just knows she got here herself. Wesley pushes back and tells her it's not too late, but she doesn't believe him. So she asks him something she's clearly been carrying for a long time. Did he ever truly love who she used to be before all of this? He says yes. And then he gives her 3 words: terrifying, radiant, sharp. Every single one lands like a full sentence. She leaves without a scene. No tears, no dramatic exit. Just a quiet goodbye and a door closing behind her. The ride to LAX starts normally. And then the car misses the exit. It doesn't speed up. It doesn't panic. It just keeps going, and then it stops. Monica looks around, and she understands. There's no plane. There was never going to be a plane. Aiden had already made his decision before she even finished setting Cooper up. She makes one final request, and it's over in seconds. When Nolan, Tim, Nyla, Angela, Gray, and Garza arrive at the scene, the night has already swallowed most of it. Wesley is there too, not as a suspect, not as a witness, just as someone who has to stand there and absorb the ending of a story he almost changed. Monica Allen is gone. Not the way she planned, not on her own terms, but in the only way this story was ever going to end once she made that first wrong turn, whenever that was. Now, let's talk about Tim Bradford, because this man is a walking contradiction right now, and it's honestly beautiful to watch. Episode 17 opens with Aaron showing up at exactly the right moment, which, knowing Aaron, is probably not a coincidence. He introduces Tim to Pierre, a high-end jeweler with a quiet, specific kind of reputation. The kind of person you go to when the ring actually matters. Tim is buying an engagement ring for Lucy Chin. Let that settle for a second. Tim Bradford, the man who runs toward gunfire without blinking, who spent years building walls so high you'd need a helicopter to clear them, is standing in a jewelry store trying not to look like he's completely out of his depth. But here's where it gets genuinely funny and a little painful. While he's planning one of the biggest moments of his life, Tim is simultaneously running a full counterintelligence operation on his own girlfriend. He's been acting distant, cold on the subject of love, practically allergic to the idea of commitment, taking notes straight from Chandler Bing's playbook, if Chandler Bing were a cop with a tactical vest and trust issues. Lucy suspects nothing, which is exactly the point. And watching Tim nearly blow at every time she brings up relationships is the kind of slow-burn tension this show does better than almost anyone. Inside the store, Pierre does something unexpected. He doesn't just open display cases. He asks Tim about Lucy. And for a moment, just a moment, Tim stops performing. The walls come down. He talks about how she sees the best in people even when they've given her every reason not to, how she actually listens rather than just waiting for her turn to talk, how she walks into difficult situations and somehow makes them feel survivable. He calls her kind. He calls her fierce. He says she brings light into places other people would rather not look at. And then he says the real thing. She makes him feel loved in a way he never believed he deserved. That's it. That's the whole story of Tim Bradford in one sentence. A man who spent so long believing he wasn't worth that kind of love that he almost convinced himself he didn't want it. Pierre doesn't say much. He doesn't need to. He just listens, nods, and goes to the back. Tim's mom, Joy, is there too, quiet, watching, the kind of presence that doesn't need to say anything to say everything. When Pierre returns, he brings options, but not ordinary ones. Each ring has a history, a story behind the stone, and the setting that